10 artists who got sued for sampling. Sampling is what you call it when a musician takes a recognizable piece of music that already exists and incorporates it into their own song. The practice dates back to the 70s, and Guinness gave the credit to 1971's "He's Gonna Step on You Again" as the first track to sample another. This became hugely popular in early 90s hip-hop and rap. The music from two of the biggest hits of that era, MC Hammer's "You Can't Touch This" and Vanilla Ice's "Ice Ice Baby," were sampled from Rick James's "Super Freak" and Queen, David Bowie's "Under Pressure," respectively. Neither was done with permission and, as we'll soon see, that caused problems. Sampling and ensuing lawsuits have become something of a tradition in the music industry, and it seems almost no one is immune. Number 10. Nicki Minaj was sued by Tracy Chapman for sampling a song. In 2018, Nicki Minaj released a song called "Sorry" that sampled lyrics and music from Tracy Chapman's "Baby Can I Hold You." Being that this was 2018 and well after many notable copyright claims had been made against many other musicians over the years, Minaj and her team were on the right track with this one. Minaj's people sent a request to Chapman for permission to use her song. She refused. Minaj's people sent another request. And then several more. Chapman didn't budge. She just didn't want her song to be used like that. So Nicki Minaj did what anyone in the music industry would do. She used it anyway. Number 9. Biz Markie lost the first major sampling lawsuit ever. Biz Markie was a larger-than-life name in hip-hop, and if you are familiar with him already, you know what that means. If not, maybe check out a video or two when you have a moment. He was goofy and weird, but he was also very likable. That said, Biz Markie was at the center of sampling's would-be downfall. Prior to a 1991 lawsuit against Markie, sampling had mostly flown under the radar in the legal sense. But Markie was sued for sampling Gilbert O'Sullivan's 1972 track, "Alone Again," naturally, in his own song, "Alone Again." Number 8. MC Hammer never asked Rick James to sample Super Freak in "You Can't Touch This." Getting back to an example from the intro, MC Hammer's "You Can't Touch This" was a seminal song of the 90s and introduced a lot of suburban folks to the world of rap. Kids loved the peppy track, but a lot of them had no idea that the catchy music was actually from Rick James's 1981 hit "Super Freak." MC Hammer never got permission for his blatant sampling of the song's bass line, which is the entire musical backing to his release. James sued when he heard it, and the case was settled out, of course, not just for money but for a songwriting credit. The result of that was James actually won a Grammy for "You Can't Touch This," the only one of his career, in 1991. Number 7. Vanilla Ice settled with Queen and David Bowie for sampling "Under Pressure." Our other intro example is a little more famous and also more complicated. Vanilla Ice, also known as Rob Van Winkle, released his most famous track, "Ice Ice Baby," in 1990. The bass line from the song was the famous bass line from Queen and David Bowie's collaboration, "Under Pressure." Van Winkle infamously and embarrassingly tried to deny this, on camera, by demonstrating a difference between the two bass lines in a way that showed they were exactly the same. Ice went on to claim it was a joke, but he was nonetheless sued by Bowie and Brian May from Queen. He ended up settling with them and, according to Van Winkle, he paid them $4 million as a result. But the story doesn't end there. Number 6. Chuck Berry sued the Beach Boys for "Surfin' USA." Sometimes good intentions backfire, and that's what Brian Wilson learned when he wrote "Surfin' USA." The song was perhaps meant as a kind of tribute or homage to Chuck Berry and his song, "Sweet Little 16, which Wilson really liked. So, while not acknowledging it was wrong, he admitted to taking the music Berry had written and turning it into his own song. Number 5. Mr. Rogers sued Ice Cube for sampling his theme song. Imagine how terrible it must feel to get sued by Mr. Rogers. If you can't imagine, try asking Ice Cube, because it happened to him. The song in question was "A Gangsta's Fairy Tale," released on Cube's first solo album back in 1990. The original intro to the song sampled the theme music to the Mr. Rogers TV show. As Cube himself put it, "It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood" and all that. Apparently, Rogers ended up getting a nickel per record until the song was edited and that part was cut out. Number 4. Run DMC sampled a My Sharona riff and got sued by the Knack 20 years later. Run DMC is hip-hop royalty at this point, having paved the way for many acts that followed after their debut back in 1983. Among their many hits is the track "It's Tricky" off of their third studio album, released in 1987. The song sampled the song "My Sharona" by the Knack, which was released in 1979 and became the band's biggest hit. Number 3. Diddy has to pay Sting for his massive sampling of "I'll Be Watching You." After the death of the Notorious B.I.G. in 1997, Diddy released a memorial track called "I'll Be Missing You." That track unmistakably samples "Every Breath You Take" by The Police, the rights to which are owned by Sting. Despite being one of the most famous producers in the world at the time, Diddy didn't think to seek permission before doing so. Sting later claimed in an interview that Elton John first heard the song on the radio and called him and told him he was about to be a millionaire. For his part, Sting said he was getting a check from Diddy for $2,000 a day for the song. Diddy later clarified it was $5,000 per day. Then went on to say that was all a joke. Whatever the fine details are, it's safe to say Sting made a lot of money off of the song. Number 2. The Hollies sued Radiohead, who later sued Lana Del Rey, all for the same song. Proving that no band is above sampling without asking, Radiohead was sued by the band The Hollies for lifting some of their music in Radiohead's popular song, "Creep." In the 90s, Albert Hammond and Mike Hazelwood approached Radiohead about the similarities between "The Air That I Breathe" and "Creep." Both men ended up with a writing credit on "Creep" after a settlement was reached, giving them a share of royalties, and the matter seemed settled. Number 1. Too Much Joy got sued by Bozo the Clown for sampling him. No sampling lawsuit has ever come close to achieving the feat performed by a band called Too Much Joy. They didn't get sued by another singer or band for stealing a track, they got sued by Bozo the Clown. Bozo was a TV clown, for those who only know the name. He was created in 1946 and was played by a number of different performers over the years, including NBC weatherman Willard Scott. So he's more of a character than a specific person in the makeup.